You are now unmuted.
Good afternoon, class. It's good to see you again. Well, from the beginning of the book, we covered many parts, but today we are supposed to actually uh, start with a review exercise and we will cover skills 1 to 12. Let's start with number 1 and I will ask خانم سما نورانی to join us. خانم سما.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Are you fine?
Yes, of course.
Great. So, do you remember last session we covered how to use adjective connectors, subjects correctly? Today, we are going to actually continue this part. We will talk about how to reduce adjective clauses and adverbial clauses. But before that, I want you and the other students to help me to answer these questions. This is a review exercise, and let's start with the number 1. What is your choice?
I think A, I'm not sure.
Very good. You choose choice A. Uh, when we are answering this type of questions, you remember last in previous sessions we talked about the position of a comma. Do you see any comma in the sentence?
No.
No, you don't see. So there is a chance of having a simple sentence in that case. So if we had a comma, so there was a chance to have a subordinate clause. If we don't see any comma, so this is not acceptable. Let's do away with this. Let's start with this one, choice C. There's a non-marker. Santa Catalina Mountains is the subject, so the mountains is the subject, and are is the verb. So what is loom? Loom is the second verb. Loom means appear, okay, emerge or appear, sometimes as a vague form, okay. Uh, uh, when something which is large or threatening appears, we use the verb loom. So we cannot have two verbs at the same time. As you see, it is not a passive. If we had the be verb, so we expected to see ed form of this, but uh, we don't have it. So we have two verbs. So this is not a past participle. So we can say that choice C is not good choice because we have one subject, two verbs. So this is not acceptable. We have the bare bone structure, subject, verb, complement, and complement. So only one verb, and they are not compounded, and they are not of the same type. This is not a helping verb. So we don't have any coordinate conjunction. So this is not a good choice. If I choose that at the beginning of any sentence and immediately after that we have the subject, it shows that this is a non-clause marker. And that is a non-clause marker, and we have a non-clause. In the non-clause, okay, we have the subject and this is the verb, then we need to have because the whole non-clause function as a singular subject it. So we need the verb to agree with this. If you continue this above the north, this is prepositional phrase. And this is a coordinate conjunctions and northeastern. So far we have a prepositional phrase boundaries, and this is the object of the preposition. Preposition plus the object of the preposition can be either adjective or an adverb, modifying verb. So we have to do away with this. Of is a preposition, whatsoever comes after that. Of the expanding city, again prepositional phrase. Of Tucson, again another prepositional phrase. So you don't see any verb to agree with this non-clause. So we say choice D is not good choice. And as you said, choice A is the best choice. The Santa Catalina Mountains is the subject, loom high above, and loom is the verb, and the rest of the sentence are actually is the complements. So let's go to the next one. Well, will you please continue?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Radioactive provides a powerful way to measure geologic time.
Do you see any comma?
Dating, I think it's C
Do you see any
or D.
comma?
No, there's no comma.
There is no comma. So it can be again a simple sentence. We cannot say uh, for sure that it is a simple sentence, but we can guess. Okay, so there is no comma. So radioactive, this is the subject at the beginning of the declarative sentence. Provides is the verb. I recognize my subject and verb. If I choose choice A, I will have two subjects. If I choose choice B, dates, I will have two verbs for one subject. If I choose choice D, can is a modal verb. So immediately after that,
It's simple form of
we
word, yeah.
don't expect to see the third person singular. It is a bare infinitive form. So this is not acceptable. And as you said, dating is the best way to, let's say, radioactive dating. Dating is the best choice for this example. Well, let's go to number 3. Again, go on, please.
Contained in the chromosomes, and they are thought of as the units of heredity.
Very good.
Um,
So, do you see any comma?
yes.
There is a comma. Immediately after the comma, you see the coordinate conjunction. And after the coordinate conjunction, you see the subject and verb. Yes?
Yes.
So, we expect to have subject and verb in this part. So, this should be another main clause. In the main clause, we expect to see the subject and verb. So, if I choose because of genes, because of is a prepositional phrase, then contained, this is a verb. So where is the subject? This is wrong. There is no subject because here genes is the object of the preposition and it cannot agree with the verb. Choice C, when genes contained. So this is again subordinate clause connector. So immediately after this, we can't expect a coordinate conjunction because coordinate conjunction conjuncts two grammatically identical units. If this is a comma and this is one of the fanboys, and I expect to see two main clauses, not subordinate clauses. Main clause and another main clause. Full stop. So here, when we are using when, we don't have a main clause. We have subordinate. Subordinate does not require any coordinate conjunction. So that is why choice C is not acceptable. Either choice A or choice B is correct. Which one is the best choice?
B.
B. Why not A?
Because it won't be the main clause.
Very good. You know which are contained in chromosomes is adjectival clause because which is a connector. You remember last session we talked about the relative pronouns. This is a relative pronoun which refers to this noun, and this noun is a subject. So this subject requires a verb, and I don't see any verb here. So there is a subject and a verb is missing. So this is a fragment. And that is why choice A is not the best choice. And as you said, choice B is the best choice. We have the subject, we have the verb are contained in chromosomes. So it is a complete thought. And then we have two main clauses connected with a coordinate conjunction. Excellent. Thank you so much. Let's ask Soyand. So again, number 4.
Yes.
Well, what
The
is the best
benefit
choice?
for number 4 is A. The benefit of the study is that it provides necessary information to anyone who needs it.
Very good. So, do you see any comma?
No.
Uh,
There.
is this sentence simple sentence by structure?
Uh, no. No, it
Very
isn't.
good.
It's
It is
a
not because you see more than one verb. First of all, here you see is. Then here you see provides. Then here you see needs. So as you see, we have one main clause and at least two embedded adjectival clauses. So it's not a simple sentence. However, in a main clause, we need subject and verb. There is a non-marker, benefit is the subject. Then the study. If I choose the study as the second subject, because there is a noun marker and study is a noun. So if I take it as a noun, it can be either a subject and I have another subject here. So if that is true, do I have a coordinate conjunction? No, I don't have. So I need a preposition here. So in that case, this cannot function as the subject. It is the object of the preposition. So I need what, as you said, a preposition. The benefit of the study is what? This is the complement. And the complement actually is a noun clause or adjectival clause, so that it provides necessary information to anyone. And then this anyone, we don't know who this anyone is. That is why we have modified this with this adjectival clause. This is necessary adjectival clause. Who needs it? And that is why we don't see any comma here. Well, if I choose that, what happens? I will have the subject, then I have the noun clause or adjectival clause. Which one? Adjectival clause. Because if you bring that to the beginning of any sentence, subject and verb, if I bring that to the beginning of any clause, okay, subject or and verb, this can be either adjective or adjectival clause or a noun clause. Here, it follows the subject, and the subject is a noun, so it's an adjectival clause if I choose that. So again, we don't have any verb to complete the meaning of the benefit. That is why this is not correct and this is not correct for the same reason. And because is subordinate clause connector. If it comes in the middle of the sentence, it should be surrounded by two commas before the verb. When it comes between the subject and verb, it should be surrounded by two commas, but we don't have any commas. So this is not, again, acceptable. And if it comes after the verb, again, we need to bring it without any comma. Okay? So here, choice A is the best choice, as you said. Well, go on, please. Number 5.
The same symptoms that occur with amphetamines can occur with cocaine. B.
Very good. B is the best choice. What is the subject?
Symptoms.
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 There is a non-marker, same is modifier, and symptom is the subject. Then I have that. I told you, when a that comes immediately after a noun, it is adjectival clause marker. So it can be the subject and at the same time the relative clause connector. So it is the connector at the same time. When it is the subject and a connector, it can have its own verb. And the verb agrees with the antecedent, this noun. As you see, the noun is plural, so the verb is plural. When the verb takes S, it becomes singular. Here, it doesn't have S, it is plural, and it agrees with the antecedent. So this is an adjectival clause, okay? So if I choose choice A, I will have amphetamine. So amphetamine can, the same symptoms that occur amphetamines. Okay, occur requires a preposition to have this noun, which is the object of the preposition. So occurs with amphetamine is the best choice. So choice A is not acceptable. It is not correct to use so amphetamine. So is a coordinate conjunction and it comes between two main clauses. But here I don't see any main clause. So this is not acceptable. And if I choose this one, I will have two subjects. They is the second subject and the first subject is that in the adjectival clause. So two subjects for the sentence or that occur with amphetamines so far. This is the adjectival clause and they is the second subject. The first subject is symptoms and the second subject is they. So two subjects for one verb and that is the second verb here. And as you correctly said, B is the best choice. Will you please continue with the next one?
Sure. Many companies across the country have molded the concepts that Wolf describes into an integrated strategy for preventing stress. B.
Number 6, B is the best choice. Why not A?
Because and is a coordinating conjunction and it connects to main clauses.
Very good.
And here, yeah.
And
sure.
in that case, we expect to see a comma.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see any comma in the sentence?
No.
You don't see any comma. Is it a simple sentence by structure?
No, we have two.
Very good. No, because we see more than one verb. Have molded, describes. Okay? So we see more than one verb. So this shows that this is not a simple sentence. It means that we have a main clause and another clause has been embedded into this main clause. So if we use so and, we expect, because immediately after them we have wolf, which is the noun, and we have describes, which is the verb. So we expected to see a comma, but there is no comma because two main clauses should be with commas. Well, this shows that these two items are not acceptable. How about choice C? What is wrong with choice C?
Well, we need a relative pronoun here because
This is a non-clause marker. This is not a relative pronoun. That is why it is not a good choice. As you said, this makes a non-clause rather than an adjectival clause. Here we have the noun, so we need an adjectival clause to modify this noun. Thank you so much. So again, let me ask one of the other students, خانم پگاه زاهدی. Pega.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, good afternoon, Pega.
Good afternoon.
Pega, will you please?
Yeah. I think the best choice is C. What appears in the first draft of the budget will not necessarily be in the final draft.
Excellent. So, why you didn't choose choice A? Do you see any comma?
No, there is no comma.
When although, which is a subordinate clause connector, comes in initial position, we expect to see a comma. So this is not correct. نیاز نیست بخونی. نگاه میکنی به جمله، کاما میبینی نه. آلدو شروع کننده جمله است. subordinate clause بس به درد نمیخوره. میندازمش کنار. Okay. I look at choice, actually, choice B. It appears, then I have will, not necessarily be. So will be. This is my verb in the sentence. Then I have it appears. Two verbs for one subject. In that case, this is not possible. And as you see in the first draft of the budget, these are prepositional phrases. These are extra. So I have it appears will be. It is the subject, appears is the first verb, and will be is the second verb. So I cannot have two verbs for one subject. And that is why choice B is not correct. If I choose choice D, despite is a preposition. Despite and in spite of. In spite of. Are both of them are prepositions and they show contrast. Okay, so immediately after them we need a noun. Okay, this is a noun, so we need a noun phrase. So this is the object of the preposition, not the subject. If we take it as the object of the preposition, and these are the prepositional phrases, so where is the subject in the sentence? I don't have any subject. Whatsoever is remaining is what appears, and this is a non-clause marker. What appears in the first draft of the budget. From here to here we have a non-clause, and a non-clause means it will be in the final draft. This is the main clause. So as you said, choice C is the best choice. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next one. Go on, please.
If a food label indicates that a food is mostly carbohydrate, it does not mean C that it is a good food to eat. So the best choice, I think, is C.
Very good. Choice C is the best choice. Well, as you see here, we have a comma, and there should be a reason for this comma. We have a conditional sentence. This is a subordinate clause, adverbial clause. This adverbial clause requires a main clause, and this is a main clause. In the main clause, I have my own subject. It doesn't mean. So this is the main clause, subject and a verb, and then I need complement. If I choose and it is good food to eat, so here we expect to have a comma before this because two independent clauses are connected with a comma. Otherwise, we will have a run-on sentence. That is why choice A is not correct. If I choose choice B, what happens? I will have and I will have it doesn't mean and is good is a good food to eat. So here we have two verbal phrases, but they are not actually of the same position or form. One is expressing an action, another one stating a position. Okay, stative. It is stating, expressing, being. Okay, that is why this is not a good choice. If we choose choice D, what happens? We will have when is a good food to eat. So this is a subordinate clause connector. It can be an adjectival clause connector, but as an adjectival clause connector, we need to have a subject immediately after this, but I don't see any subject. So here I don't need any adjectival clause connector, and the subject of this adjectival clause connector is missing. So this is incorrect, and the best choice is choice C. Well, Pegah, will you please read the next one?
Yeah. A need for case law to include commercial concerns has been recognized in as much it's
In as much as. So either choice C or D is correct.
yeah, and immediately after
I do
as we
apologize.
need
I need to answer this phone call. I do apologize.
You are now unmuted.
Sorry for interruption. In as much as, look at the spelling. In as much is one word, as is the second word. So here I need to have as. So choice A and B are not acceptable. Either C or D is correct. So this is a connector. Immediately after the connector, I need the subject, not the verb. Has is a verb. So choice C is not correct. So there is no need to read the test. You look at the connector, it requires as. So these two choices are extra. Because this is a subordinate clause connector, we require a subject. Here there is no subject. Immediately I see the verb. This is not correct. So choice D is the best choice. Let's go to the next one.
the report on the nuclear power plant indicated that when the plant had gone online, B, I think, it had been unsafe.
Very good. B is the best choice. Well, do you see any comma?
No.
No, but you see a subordinate clause connector. Indicated is verb. The report is the subject. On the nuclear power plant, this is something extra. Indicated is verb. I found my subject and verb, and then I need the direct object. You can add that to the beginning of any clause or sentence and make it either a noun clause or adjectival clause. Here it is a noun clause because it comes immediately after the verb and it is the direct object. So that when the plant had gone online, so here I have subordinate clause connector, then it had been unsafe. It had been unsafe. This is the main clause. So the choice B is the best choice. If I choose and, then when, and. One is subordinate clause connector, another one is coordinate conjunctions. And coordinate conjunctions conjoins two grammatically identical units. They should be the same, but here two parts are not the same, so choice A is not acceptable. If I choose choice C, what happens? I will have had gone the first verb and had been the second verb, and there is no coordinate conjunctions. So this is not possible. Two verbs for one subject. And then if I choose online that it had been unsafe, again, what is wrong with this? Why not choice D?
Because then we have two that's, and it's another clause,
Actually,
whereas it needs.
this is a clause, very good as you said, which modifies online line, okay? So where is the main clause? When the plant had gone online is a subordinate clause. Immediately after that, I need subject and verb without any connector. So it had been unsafe. So this is my main clause.